Thanks for joining. We got to get more people on this call. We're averaging, I mean, our views are really good on YouTube between 1 and 200, which is good. But when you remember we've got a few thousand people who bought nodes, we have to get more people to these calls. And I get it, it's in the middle of a work day. Most people can't do it. We have node owners in 42 countries around the world. So I know that it's we're not always going to get everybody on at the same time, but everybody should be on. 2025 is the year. This is where things happen. If you go back to the post Bitcoin halving, when all the altcoins start to run, all that kind of fun stuff. If I had a bunch of nodes, which I do, I would be on this call every week looking for updates on what is the company doing, me sharing information about what the community is doing as well. And I would want to know. I get a lot of private messages. People text me, hey, what's going on here? What's going on there? Some of the stuff I control, some of the stuff I don't control, as evidenced by our little disclaimer here that I screenshot that. I make everybody read it every week. Everybody needs to understand ELMT United, the company, is not ELMT, the blockchain. You are the blockchain. You guys control the blockchain, the token. Anything token related is on your end. Of course, anything on the product side is on our end. And so I always like to just make sure that everybody remembers that. So let's go ahead and recap. Again, I thanked Paul for jumping on last week while I was in Puerto Rico, or 2 weeks ago while I was in Puerto Rico. Had great meetings out there. It seems like the whole crypto world is out in Puerto Rico. A lot of industry leaders live out there for, probably, they'll probably tell you the weather, but it's probably for tax reasons. And a lot of big names out there. A lot of guys were out there. One of the guys I met with is really big in the tokenizing of in-ground assets. We're looking to do a joint venture with him. He was there to meet a guy named Peter Schiff, who apparently hates crypto and has been all over the past few years, all over network TV news, ripping on crypto. But apparently, who knows? He's coming around. I don't know that, but the guy I met with seems to think so. And so we are making big progress. One of the big things that we are working on is tokenizing in-ground assets. As you guys know, ELMT blockchain is a layer 1 blockchain, which means we can do things with that blockchain. We can create other tokens on that blockchain, and we are fast moving in the direction of being the platform where other people come to create their own tokens on the ELMT blockchain. And that ELMT blockchain is run by you. We're going to probably have a few votes coming up here. We need all of your input on whether to do this or not. I think it's good because there are a lot of different ways that these new tokens that will be produced will integrate with the ELMT token, which all of you presumably on this call have a lot of. And so there's things that we can do. Right now, the big buzz in all of the crypto world is RWA, which is real world assets. People are looking for tokens that have a stabilized nature. Some of these stabilized coins are backed by USD. We are moving quickly in the direction of backing tokens that are backed by in-ground assets, more specifically by gold. Now, there'll be SEC regulations and all this kind of stuff that have to go along with it. We're not exactly sure how it'll interact with the ELMT token. However, there will be a lot of action and a lot of things happening on your blockchain. And so we are looking at a lot of different things. Over the past couple of weeks, I'll fill you guys in. Here's what we've been really busy with. We've had people flying in from all over the country because we're primarily focused on other than our Tanzania mine and a couple other mines that we cut deals with several years ago, we are focusing on United States mines just because there's a little bit more regulation. We know there's not a lot of child labor and crazy things happening, but we're looking at mines in the United States, specifically gold mines. Now, there is one mine that we're talking to that has everything. I mean, we're basically saying, hey, let's put the entire periodic table on the blockchain. And we're looking at creating tokens for them, for their companies. And so we've had people coming in. We've had a group in from Texas, a group from Arizona, a group from here in Utah. And we have talked to people that have in-ground assets pushing the neighborhood of $1 trillion because some of these mines are just hundreds of billions of dollars of in-ground gold. And so we continued this conversation in Puerto Rico with some of the founders of the company and talking about really where should we position ourselves with this big push in the entire crypto world for RWA, tokens backed by real world assets. we need to be positioning ourselves. And obviously, we've been talking about it for a long time. We already have mines, but we're making big progress. We're making big pushes. We've got the legal team. We're talking, we need to have conversations with the CFTC, the SEC, all these things, because some of the tokens could be securities, but we also have ways to do it that aren't. And so there's just been big high-level meetings about how we do this and how we make sure that we're positioned. Now, here's the good news. We have finished technology. We're way ahead of everybody. One of the groups that we met with out in Puerto Rico was initially trying to raise $100 million so that they can go and build what we already have. So it's a pretty good relationship for us, because we already provide a lot of things that they already have, and they have some of the things that we need, including additional gold mines and other in-ground assets. And so we are really focused on that. At least I'm focused on that. The team is still working on our products and doing all those other great things. But I envision Element United, and more specifically, actually more accurately, the Element blockchain as the platform for these other tokens to come on and create a token that represents their in-ground assets. And so there's been a lot of movement in the world to monetize assets that are in the ground. Doing it through insurance wrapped bonds, and it's such a no-brainer for us to tokenize it and create a digital asset, a crypto asset that can be representative of these mines. We also met with a group that has a lot of ore already mined in barrels that's apparently got $1 billion valuation. They want to come in, and theirs will be a little bit more truly backed because the gold is already up out of the ground. And so some of these companies, what they're looking to do is they will create tokens that represent, so let's just say there's $10 billion worth of gold. They'll create a token that's representative of 1 billion of those dollars. And that gives them the ability to basically say, look, they're still 90% in reserve. So if the token price drops or whatever, or if they actually have to go in and extract, then they have a massive 90% reserve where they can go in and do that. And so some of the guys we're talking to say, hey, look, let's sell some of these tokens, and then we'll take the money from that, the revenue from those token sales, and actually dig up the gold and then stick it in a vault. So then there's a true ratio of vaulted gold to a crypto token. Other guys are saying, nope, we're going to leave it in the safest place you can possibly leave it forever, which is in ground. Exciting possibilities. It's all the buzz right now, and we are working fast. That's primarily what we talked about down in Puerto Rico. So lots of really cool stuff. Other things happening right now. By the way, some of you guys will often put questions in Discord, and so we'll try to, throughout the presentation here, address some of those questions you guys had. A lot of the questions was, what's going on with the Trump administration? How does this affect? Our founders were actually invited to the White House to be at that crypto summit. So there's not a lot of, other than a bunch of green lights and positive signals, there hasn't been a lot of clarity yet as far as what's going to be happening in the crypto world as far as the Trump organization is concerned, other than a strategic crypto reserve. They've already loosened up some things from the previous administration. And there's going to be some clarity coming down. That's what we want in the crypto world. We just want clarity. It's it sucks, spending hundreds of millions of dollars in years building something, worried that the SEC is going to come in and identify that as a security or whatever. And so clarity is the key. And so that's where our confidence is in right now. The entire crypto world is that at least there's going to be some clearly defined rules, and we have a pro crypto administration right now. And so it's rejuvenated everything. It's rejuvenated the entire crypto world, even though you're still seeing some big swings in Bitcoin and ETH and some of these other things. One of the other questions is the post Bitcoin halving last time was followed by a bull run in the altcoins, and things are just a little bit different now. Number one, there's a lot more altcoins out there. There's a lot, the way you market, the way it works, it doesn't just work off hype and BS, because there's been so many rug pulls in the last 4 years that people are skeptical, which is why we love what we do, because we created the blockchain creates a token that actually has utility and that's solving problems. And so, yes, that's not as sexy as, hey, this meme coin is going to go, 4,000% today, but we're built for the long haul. And when you build for the long haul, it takes a little while. We get a lot of disgruntled people who say, I bought a node 3 years ago. Why aren't you at X? Now, could someone in the community take $3 or $4 million and pump the token tomorrow? Of course, they could do that. That's what every other token is doing, but that's not what we're doing. There has to be a balance between token utility and the excitement around the token. We talk about token utility all the time. We talk about the ability to buy gold, silver, carbon credits, all these things, gold backs using the token. But at the same time, if we're being honest, of course, we would love other people who speculate on crypto or who like crypto to just buy the token. That'd be great if it wasn't just strictly utility. So there is a balance there. And the people who are in the community, because again, it's not Element United that does that. We provide the utility by having products that can be purchased, but on the speculative end or on the hype end, that's done by the community. And there are several community members gearing up to do some cool things. I don't know what they're doing because I don't want to ask, because I don't want people thinking that you guys having the token relies upon me for value in that token. It doesn't. You all know that. That's we're not trying to run afoul of any three-letter agencies, especially the SEC. But I do know that there are a few members of the Element blockchain community who are about to do some very exciting things. Now, what they're waiting on, what they tell me is that it's kind of a timing thing as well. You want to kind of keep your powder dry, maybe wait for the alt run to take off. And it's kind of a timing thing between working with KOLs and influencers and all those types of people that actually get out there and get people excited about the token. Now, I'm excited about that. That's great, right? Because I'm a token owner as well. But it's done by the community. And so there are wonderful things happening. Let's see. By the way, there's also questions coming in. I'm trying to. Well, I'll have the team filter the questions. One of the questions just came in is the gaming side. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this about the gaming side. We put the gaming side on hold so that we could build the carbon credit side, because again, we're looking at what's happening in the world. We're looking at the trends where people are putting their attention and their money. Carbon credits is huge. And so we've been frantically dealing with that. We're still working on getting our carbon marketplace up and running. But again, you guys all know, if you've been on these calls before, with the relationship we have with Shrifara, with the credits that we have live right now. We've got 43,000 tokens that just went live about a week or so ago. And those are going to be sold soon. But the gaming side, we are not abandoning the gaming side. As you guys know, one of the founder of our blockchain, which I'm the co-founder of, is also the founder of probably the most successful gaming blockchain ever. It had the biggest run ever, which was called Gala. And several of the Gala folks have joined this ecosystem to help with things like RWA and like gaming. The gaming thing is going to happen. It is the most natural way for us to get the word out there to the demographic that loves crypto and loves gaming and loves the cause, loves helping marginalized people, loves helping the environment. If we can get the element, if the Element token were in the hands of hundreds of thousands of that type of community, well, that's pretty good. And if there was a utility for the token within the game, that's fantastic. So I will tell you, and again, thanks for that question, that is absolutely happening. The timing of it, because we kind of pushed a couple projects in front of it, is delayed a bit. And again, just so you guys know, those of you who are new to our community, we already built a game. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and took a long time, and it sucked. I don't have any gaming experience, and the team that we had that was working on that hired who they thought would be great. It was just a money grab for them. Very, very disappointed. I owned that. Since it was my decision to green light that, and I didn't know about it, so I just kind of gave up some control to this team. That's on me. And that was a big blow to us, because it was in our momentum and our growth stage where we had a ton of money coming in through node sales, and that's what we were using to build the game. I blew that one. So we're going to make sure that this next one, we own it, and it's going to be fantastic. We already have the mine lined up that's going to represent the in-game asset. So good stuff, but it's still going to happen. For now, though, our focus obviously is getting the carbon credit project finished. There's still a ton of work to do with building the marketplace and also just getting more projects online. That takes a Herculean effort to get some of these projects online, and it takes a while. Some of you guys have known we've been talking about that for a while, and now we're live. We've got the carbon credits live right now. Working with multiple mines, like I mentioned, there's still, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of in-ground assets of companies that are approaching us, and now that's the big thing. And so we're just trying to make sure we stay relevant and we capture some market share as the trends, and again, it's not, hey, let's just go whichever way. That we have our core fundamental beliefs and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish, but you also have to look at what's happening in the crypto world and adapt to that and to try to get more eyeballs. And so that's what we're doing. It's been a lot of work, a ton of meetings, meetings with developers on, can we build this? Can we create this? A lot of negotiating with mine owners, but it's been great. Okay. As you all know, we did a gold giveaway. Now this was just kind of a teaser. $3,000 worth of gold and silver isn't huge. Yes, it's awesome, and I think it's really going to help out the people that won. But I'd like to do one on a much bigger scale, and we have been approached by a group that has a way to do a much bigger, more fun giveaway, and we'll talk about that later. However, drum roll, we have a winner of the gold coin and 10 silver coins. So here is what it was. So the price of gold on the 14th, which is when it ended, was $2,986.35. I feel like Bob Barker. I'm about to give the showcase showdown, right? I just lifted it up. Okay. So the actual retail price, $2,986. Person who got closest was Espen Robstad from Agder, Norway. Fantastic. You're in Norway. How are we going to get you your gold and silver? We'll figure it out, Espen. But congratulations, you just won. The price of gold is $3,000. We threw in 10 silver tokens, so fantastic. We're going to do this bigger. What's that?
I was going to say, he did a great job. I'm guessing he was only 15 cents away.
15 cents. Nice job. That's fantastic. Oh. And thank you, Paul, for all your help in running that promotion. And so now the heavy lift for you, Paul, you got to figure out how we're going to mail this gold out to him. I don't want to end up in handcuffs in Norway for sending gold. So we'll look at the regulations. We'll figure it out. If I got to jump on a plane, because Paul and I are going to Africa, by the way. We've been saying that forever, but we're still going. Norway's kind of far. Maybe we won't make a pit stop in Norway, but either way, we'll get that to you. Now, we also gave away silver tokens to other community members. So if your name is on this list, Brad Morris, Sprig T, Hilton E, JL, Amber Maines, Keith Bishop, Paul Y, Kimberly Ovnick, Richard P, Danny Muckleroy. These folks also won a silver coin. So we'll figure out how to we'll do all that, Paul. When I say we, I mean the team, because I don't know how to do this, but the team is going to go ahead and do that. Make sure everybody gets their token. Paul, is there any additional information that I don't know if any of these guys are on here, but maybe they'll see it on YouTube, and I hope they don't mind us that we shared their names publicly. But any other follow-up that they need in order to claim this?
I've already reached out to all of them and getting their shipping information and everything. So
that's why I make the big bucks, Paul. Thank you. Okay. One other thing. So that was the good news. This is how do we put a happy spin on this? We had another halving on Monday, which means the amount of element that your nodes are producing got cut in half. This is just, Bitcoin has a 4-year halving. We have an annual halving. So now 6.25 billion tokens are going out starting on Monday. That's our 2025 halving schedule. And now again, in the past, you have a halving and it's like, okay, nothing's happening with the token. There's no volume. There's no value. I suspect, and again, don't quote me on this because I don't have any control over this, that 2025 is going to be a year you're going to see some stuff. Volume based on token utility, volume based on people getting the word out that we have an amazing project and that everybody should get involved with this. But we did have a halving, and I think email went out calling it a happy halving. you should be happy that it's, I don't know why, but you should be happy that you're getting less. But if you look at Bitcoin, and again, we're not comparing ourselves to Bitcoin, as the halvings happened, the price of Bitcoin went way up. So there's still people out there buying a whole bunch of mining equipment to mine Bitcoin, even though it's way more expensive to do it, takes a lot more power, and there's a lot less Bitcoin being sent out. But why are people still doing it? Because the price of Bitcoin's 100 grand. Right now, because the token hasn't moved yet, people are like, oh crap, this halving sucks. But just hang tight. 2025, in my estimation, is going to be a fantastic year for the company and for you guys as the blockchain, because some of your members are out there doing some fun things. Node sales are up. It feels like 2021 again, to where basically everybody that we talk to is pumped and is saying, okay, this is great. I want nodes, and we've got some very large node sales that are already committed and signed. Some of them are coming in monthly. Some of them will be coming in lump purchases. But so if you think the halving sucked and your nodes are producing less token, wait till all these other nodes come online. It's going to go even lower, but that is okay, right? There's a one thing goes down and hopefully another thing goes up, a dynamic that happens here. So, but there's just exciting things happening in the community. I always talk about the cool things happening, and people can get a little frustrated because the things that I'm working on take time. And when you're comparing the ELMT token to some just meme coin that popped up last night and already has this value, remember, there's a strategic thing that's happening with us where the products create the utility. Now, again, to balance that, the community is also going to do the other side that you might think is a little bit more fun, where they get out there and they talk to influencers and KOLs and all this fun stuff, and they make it go up. So I'm excited to see that too. I'm focused on the longevity play. I hope ELMT's here for 30 years and that we have 50 products and that everybody clamors and stammers and fights to get the ELMT token so that they can buy a whole bunch of products that we sell, and then let the community do what they do. But there are plans in place. I'll give you a little bit of one of the community members. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it. I don't want you guys thinking relying on me. But one of the community members is putting significant money into promotion. Let's say that. And letting people know, here's what this company is doing. You guys should stuff that you'll never hear me say that they will say. A few other questions have come through. Actually, I think I already answered that one. But anyway, oops. So that's the update. There will be a time where we might go back to weekly updates because we're getting to a point to where there's a lot happening on a lot of different fronts. Right now, I think we're still good with the first and third Wednesday, but very shortly, especially after certain things, products, stuff like that starts going to momentum, where we might start talking about it a little bit more. But for now, we'll keep it at the first and third. I think the next one, because let's see the date here. I'm going to pull this up. Sorry. Okay. So the next one, oh no, I guess the next one will be Wednesday. I will be out of town. I'm out of town with my family. It's spring break for the kiddos. And so on the 2nd, April 2nd, let's see. Oh, someone's asked, what's the background? Oh yeah. My background is YouTube. I was just on our YouTube channel watching. By the way, I was watching some previous updates, and I start them all off the same way. Thanks, guys, for joining. We're going to give you a few more minutes. I was like, how stupid is that? Every one of them starts the same way, so I'm never going to say that again. But yeah, the background is our Element YouTube channel. So anyway, go check it out. Get your friends to follow. But that's it, guys. Appreciate it. Paul, anything else you think we should bring up, or are we good?
No, I think you covered it all. So
yeah, I probably didn't, but if I didn't, guess what? We do this every 2 weeks. And so I really, Sorry, Paul, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Just to say, we talked about doing, some more, just probably the next community call, and either one of the April ones. We'll just focus on answering more questions.
Okay.
So
that's right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. Keep putting your questions in. Oh, by the way, somebody just asked jewelry partnerships. So I'll give you a little sneak peek. So I got to hold in my hands while I was in Puerto Rico, the first piece of jewelry that we're going to be NFTing with a, we've teased it before, with a very well-known and large jewelry company. But I held it in my hand, biggest diamond I've ever held, sixth biggest diamond this company's ever produced. It was like 6.5 million bucks, and I got to hold it. It was incredible, and that's going to be the first one. But that one, I know we've teased it, but someone said we should be using R-Link. I know, dude. How are we not supporting our buddies over there at R-Link? Darren, Tony, apologize. We'll switch this up to R-Link. And so yeah, so a lot of cool stuff, but I'm not gonna give you a timeline on that one. There was apparently a meeting in New York with our founder and this unnamed company. I did not get an update on when that's happening, just because my head's just in too many things. But we'll find that out as far as more jewelry partnerships. But you land this one, and all the rest will come running. That's basically the level of this partnership that we're looking at. So. But that's all we've got for today. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming on. Sorry I was late. And we'll see you, or someone will see you that Tuesday. You know what I should do? I will actually be in Disneyland on April 2nd, which is our the next scheduled one. I will not do a broadcast from there. That would be annoying and loud. So we'll have someone from our team. I think Paul did one. We'll get someone else to do the next community update. Or
it was me and Ali. So
you and Ali. Okay, I can record one and then we can put it up there, because hopefully by then we'll have some pretty cool things to announce. But either way, a live Paul is better than a recorded Scott. And so, but maybe we combine both, because I just like connecting with the community. I like taking questions. I like giving you guys updates on what we're doing, because sometimes no one knows what we're doing. And so I love telling people, because it's like, holy crap, we've been working our butts off doing this deal, that deal. And it's fun to like pop my head up out of the sand every 2 weeks and tell you guys what we're doing. So in Discord, put more questions and we'll answer as many of them.
In the tab that says Scott Q&A, that tab is where you guys can keep dropping questions. And
we could do an AMA. We can do an AMA as well, do a live one. But and again, and I don't mean to like not answer all the questions there. When it comes to certain questions, like about the token, because everybody, listen, let's be honest. Most of your questions are, when's your token gonna be worth $1? I can't answer that question. And I can't give the assumption that I'm going to make it worth $1, right? We're not trying to get shut down or to make false, or earnings claims or anything like that. Would I like it to be $1? Heck yeah. Is there a possibility? Sure. But it's not done by anyone here at ELMT United. That's done by the community and all the people that work to make those things happen. Now, could it happen naturally just through token utility? Of course. But so anyway, so I don't mean to like not answer those questions. I assume that every call is reviewed by the SEC, and I just stay super compliant and make sure. I even put the challenge out there. If anybody ever heard me make an earnings claim, I'd give them some. I don't know. I can't remember what the challenge was, but because I don't, we have many lawyers who are trying to keep us compliant with the regulation that's out there. That's why we're excited about what's happening with this new administration. We just tell us the rules and we'll follow it, right? Because we're confident that the product that we have at ELMT United is better than anything else out there. I am confident this is the best blockchain project on earth, and we just need to let the world know about it. So that's all I've got today. Thank you guys for joining this call, and we'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Paul.